Hey guys, welcome back to the Nostalgic Neighborhood. Today I'm excited to share something really cool. For my 50th birthday, my wife took me to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the BMX Hall of Fame weekend. It was an unforgettable experience filled with BMX legends, some awesome bikes, and plenty of rad moments. If you're not familiar with the BMX Hall of Fame weekend, it's held at the USA BMX National Headquarters and Hall of Fame Museum in Tulsa. The facility includes a 25,000 square foot office building and museum, and then the Hardesty National BMX Stadium, which is an arena that hosts everything from weekly races to World Cup events. The weekend was centered around the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, but it was packed with all sorts of fun events like a bike show, a Flatland jam, a bunny hop contest, racing, and even a BMX ride out on Sunday. So this weekend wasn't just about celebrating BMX history, it was also about experiencing all the rad things happening in the BMX world today. Okay, so the event started with a reception inside the museum on Friday night, but we skipped that because it's a 6-hour drive from St. Louis and we just weren't able to arrive in time. We showed up around 7:30 a.m. and it was already buzzing with activity. I brought the new Monza 27.5-inch cruiser to display in the bike show. Registration was a bit confusing, but we eventually got the bike tagged and set up. One of the coolest parts of the morning was chatting with Sean from Rad BMX Builds. If you're into BMX, you probably know his channel, and trust me, he's just as rad in person as he is on camera. We chatted off and on throughout the day, and he posted this selfie on Instagram, and I was absolutely in love with this silly comment someone left. So yeah, we spent a good part of the morning hanging out and checking out bikes. Here's a couple of Tim Lil throw-ups bikes. We had a few interesting chats with him. If you aren't familiar with Tim's channel, Radmatic, you should definitely go check it out. And here we have an absolutely mind-blowing display of Redline bikes from the legendary collector Rob Lane. His collection spans the full spectrum of BMX history, from the earliest days of racing to the iconic freestyle bikes of the 80s. It's an incredible tribute to BMX culture. These bikes are not just rare, they're priceless pieces of history. Just wow. And of course, Rob took home a bunch of awards at the show for his amazing collection. And then Torker Racing had a really nice display set up. And I've got to say, I've been into freestyle and then big bike cruisers, but I've never ridden on a racetrack before. And after this weekend, I'm seriously considering it. And I feel like if I did get into it, I'd have to get a Torker or a Supercross bike. Okay, so we spent a good while walking around and checking out the bikes. It was getting hot already, and with a high temperature of around 100 degrees that day, we were ready to head into the museum to enjoy some cool AC and more hot bikes. First thing inside was a map of visitor locations, so of course we had to represent with a pin from St. Louis. So as you walk inside, it's a bit overwhelming. There are bikes and memorabilia everywhere you look. I was really drawn to this ET display first. I think for many of us, the bikes in this movie played a big part in getting us interested in getting aggressive and adventurous on our bikes. I could make an hour-long video just touring the museum here. I'm just going to share some highlights, but I encourage you to make the trip here yourself. You really can spend a couple of hours reading all the historical narratives on the walls and displays. We really enjoyed it. Of course, I really enjoyed this display from the movie Rad with the bike and the uniforms. Let's go Crew Jones! Here we've got a sick monoshock from Gary Turner, and then a display of the evolution of racing uniforms. Here's a Haro Freestyler donated by Mike Dominguez. It's so sick. And then on the other side, we've got a pink Hutch Trickstar donated by Woody Itzen. You know I was drawn to this one. How cool. Here we've got some Skyways and an interesting display of the evolution of BMX grips. Sort of an evolution of Grand Nationals trophies through the years. Quite impressive. Okay, and if you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of Eddie Fiola. It was so cool to see the Pro World Tour that he had donated. So we just scratched the surface of all the cool stuff here. I'm just giving you a teaser in hopes that you'll want to come dig deeper yourself. I hope you can make a visit someday. Next, we headed over to check out the racetrack. It looked super impressive, but since they weren't riding yet, we grabbed lunch from the concession stand, which had burgers, chicken, hot dogs, and stuff like that. I went with a corn dog and fries, and my wife got a hot dog. Prices were reasonable, and for a snack bar food, it was pretty tasty. It was nearly 100 degrees by the time the Flatland Jam started, but I've got to give credit to the riders for toughing it out. I was super stoked to meet Brett Downs, a former freestyle pro who even encouraged me to take his bike for a spin, though I handed it back before I hurt myself. Brett was super friendly and encouraging, just like so many humble and talented riders in the BMX community. I love this scene.
Thank you.
I didn't get a ton of video of all the riders, but here's a couple clips showing the incredible balance of James McCraw. Amazing. And then my friend LA from the St. Louis 4130 Flatland crew showed up, so it was really fun to see him join in.
Somebody had to come down here and represent these St. Louis Blues. Yeah. Somebody had to represent them St. Louis Blues. We got here with St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues.
Right on, yeah.
STL in the house.
Why didn't we think of that trick in the 80s? There's no brakes, no pegs. Should have been done.
Yeah, let's see it again. I even missed it.
It's so simple and it's so beautiful, isn't it?
It is beautiful.
It blows my mind. We should have thought of that in the 80s,
Yeah.
and I don't know why it took 40
It
years.
took 40 years to figure it out, but there you go.
It was good.
Okay, so we watched the Flatland guys ride for a while, and then they started a bunny hop contest sponsored by Dan's Comp. Not a lot of guys participated, so I was stoked to see LA give it a go. It quickly came down to two younger riders, and eventually it was just down to Draven Groove. It was pretty crazy. I think he eventually got up to clearing about 46 inches before he tapped out. Just wow. After that, we went back over to the racetrack. It was pretty hot and I was starting to feel a little zapped, so I didn't record as much as I should have, but this will at least give you a sense of what the track was like. Next time I'd love to spend more time watching the riders. These were mostly little kids right here, and it was super fun watching their families cheer them on. The next generation coming up right here. By 2 p.m. the heat was brutal, so we headed inside to cool off. I had a great time hanging out with Sean from Rad BMX Builds some more, and Chris Wong, who I first met in person at the Buckeye Bike Show. We even caught up with Woody Itzen, and I got his autograph on a 1984 Donruss card. Talk about feeling like a kid again, so cool. And then around 2:30, they handed out trophies to the racers and the winners of the bike show. It was fun celebrating with everyone, all so supportive of each other. Good stuff. And then we headed back to the hotel room to get some downtime before the induction ceremony started that evening. They were doing a red carpet thing, which was really cool, and introduced past inductees before the ceremony began.
Give a round of applause to Matt Kaufman. Please welcome Eddie Viola. Nobody has done it like Mr. Bob Osborne. And one of the few people still building American BMX products. Give a warm welcome to a guy who brought freestyle shows to the masses, Woody Itzen.
You can watch the full ceremony at the BMX Hall of Fame YouTube channel, but in a nutshell, we had Debbie Kelly, who ran Black Mountain BMX for over 37 years, shaping the BMX community and hosting major events. Bobby Woods, former BMX world champion, known for his racing success and signature frame. Jeff Watson, who pioneered skate park BMX riding in Southern California in the 80s. Freestylin Magazine Staff, who revolutionized BMX media and captured the sport's rebellious spirit. Kim Hayashi, a dominant women's racer in the 2000s, winning 5 NBL Elite Women titles. Hugo Gonzalez, the fearless rider who became the first world freestyle champion in 1986. Jay Miron, the Canadian Beast, credited with over 30 tricks and co-creator of the pivotal seat design. And finally, Maris Stromberg, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist who cemented his legacy as the machine in BMX racing. So after the event, we stayed and visited with new and old friends for a while. I had the chance to congratulate Hugo Gonzalez and chat with Eddie Viola some more, both really great guys. So the next morning was the big ride out, and I got about 2.5 hours of riding on the new 27.5-inch Monza, and I've got to say it was perfect for a ride like this. It handled beautifully and definitely turned a few heads with its cool looks. And unfortunately, I didn't really get a lot of video of the ride, or at least even me riding the Monza. Everything was moving so fast, and it was just, you know, enough to keep up with the riders. But yeah, we had a solid group and we rode to the Outsider's house, which was really cool. I didn't realize it was the actual house from the movie until we got there. We also explored downtown Tulsa and we had good times all around. And a little after noon, we realized that we'd be getting home pretty late if we didn't peel off from the group and start heading back. So unfortunately, we didn't get a chance for a proper goodbye to new friends. Overall, it was a fantastic weekend. The BMX Hall of Fame event was a little more industry focused than some of the enthusiast-based shows like the Buckeye Show, but the energy and community were still there. It's always amazing to see how strong BMX still is, and I left with a deeper appreciation of the sport. I might focus a lot on 80s nostalgia here on the channel, but this weekend really opened my eyes to how BMX racing is alive and thriving today. Seeing those kids out on the track, the passion in the riders, it's something I definitely want to explore more in future videos. Thanks for joining me on this trip down BMX memory lane, and until next time, keep riding. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more BMX and skate content. Here's a video that YouTube thinks that you should watch next. I'll see you over there in that one.